The monarchy was already collapsing under pressure, but behind the palace walls, another war was secretly exploding, and this time it was not about Harry, Meghan, or even the crown itself. It was about Queen Camilla allegedly trying to smuggle her own bloodline directly into royal power, while King Charles lay exhausted during cancer treatment. And according to insiders, Princess Anne discovered everything. Every hidden paper trail, every silent administrative move, every alleged secret attempt to place Tom Parker Bowles and Laura Lopes inside the royal structure forever. What happened next reportedly shattered Buckingham Palace from the inside and pushed Prince William into one of the coldest decisions he has ever made against Camilla. Nobody inside the palace expected the timing. That is what made the entire situation feel so ruthless. The institution was already drowning in panic over King Charles's health. Staff members were terrified. Senior royals were distracted. Every hallway conversation inside royal residences revolved around treatment schedules, hospital visits, and fears about what would happen if the king's condition worsened. But while everyone else focused on survival, Camilla allegedly focused on legacy. And according to palace whispers, she believed this was finally the moment to move. Sources claim Camilla began quietly contacting her closest circle, including her children Tom Parker Bowles and Laura Lopes, while internal palace staff started noticing strange paperwork moving through administrative channels. At first, nothing looked suspicious. That was supposedly the genius of the operation. The documents looked painfully ordinary, boring classifications, small ceremonial adjustments, harmless wording changes. But hidden inside those tiny bureaucratic edits was something explosive, an alleged pathway that could eventually grant royal honors and formal institutional status to Camilla's children without public debate. And according to insiders, Camilla allegedly selected honors very carefully, not random titles, specific ones the monarch could approve privately without parliament interfering, quietly, permanently. Palace staff later realized the entire strategy depended on speed and silence. Move the paperwork before anyone understands what is happening. Get signatures while Charles is exhausted. Lock the process into the institution before opposition can react. But this story did not begin during Charles's illness. It allegedly started almost 20 years earlier during the negotiations surrounding Charles and Camilla's marriage. Queen Elizabeth reportedly accepted Camilla as Charles' future wife under one critical condition: her children would never become official parts of the monarchy. No royal hierarchy. No ceremonial integration. No institutional elevation. That line supposedly mattered deeply to Elizabeth because of Diana's legacy and public perception surrounding the affair that haunted the royal family for years. People close to the royal household allegedly claim Camilla viewed Queen Elizabeth's restriction not as a permanent defeat but as a temporary obstacle, a line that would only survive while Elizabeth herself remained alive. The moment the Queen passed away, insiders say Camilla quietly began building administrative routes inside the palace structure itself. Tiny changes, tiny edits, tiny reclassifications nobody would notice individually, but together, they allegedly formed a hidden ladder pulling her family closer and closer toward royal legitimacy. Then came the coronation, and suddenly people started noticing something unusual. Camilla's grandsons appeared prominently inside one of the monarchy's most sacred public moments, standing near royal heirs, visible beside Prince George and Princess Charlotte. Most viewers saw a proud grandmother sharing a family moment, but palace critics allegedly saw something far more calculated: public conditioning, normalizing Camilla's bloodline inside royal imagery little by little until the public accepted it emotionally before questioning it institutionally. According to palace staff, reclassification papers allegedly started appearing inside document packages prepared for King Charles during periods of exhaustion and treatment recovery. These were supposedly mixed into routine signing folders containing harmless administrative approvals. Charles allegedly trusted the system completely, but insiders now whisper that some papers allegedly contained foundational approvals connected to Camilla's invented internal category, extended household members with ceremonial eligibility. Palace insiders describe Anne as the one royal who never stopped watching Camilla carefully after Queen Elizabeth died. Not emotionally, not dramatically, quietly, methodically. According to reports, Anne allegedly became suspicious after Camilla's office previously attempted to alter ceremonial language connected to Diana's protected legacy inside official royal documentation. Anne reportedly blocked it immediately, but more importantly, she allegedly began tracking Camilla's office afterward like a silent investigator. The staff member reportedly told Anne that strange documents connected to Camilla's office kept being cleared despite repeated concerns raised internally. Supervisors allegedly ignored warnings. Senior officials signed things off without explanation. That was when the employee allegedly realized the normal palace channels were compromised. Anne became the only person they trusted enough to approach. What Anne allegedly uncovered afterward reportedly stunned even Prince William himself. His hidden ceremonial drafts, reclassification requests, internal positioning plans, and then the document that supposedly changed everything, a draft state event role assignment with Lopes, allegedly placed into a ceremonial slot historically reserved for working royals. That was the moment Anne reportedly realized this was not just symbolic ambition anymore. And insiders say Anne became absolutely furious over one specific detail above all others: timing. She allegedly believed Camilla accelerated everything during Charles's illness because the palace was emotionally distracted and structurally vulnerable. According to sources, Anne considered it one of the most disrespectful acts ever attempted inside the institution during a reigning monarch's health crisis. And then, she allegedly walked straight to Prince William. Sources claim William looked through the evidence and immediately shut everything down. Every classification adjustment allegedly reversed. Every title exploration terminated. Every ceremonial pathway erased from palace systems in a single afternoon. But William reportedly went even further than simply stopping Camilla's plans. He allegedly rebuilt the institutional rules themselves so nothing similar could happen again without direct approval through his office. What makes this entire palace scandal feel even more dangerous is that insiders claim the war did not actually end after Anne exposed Camilla's alleged operation. According to whispers inside royal circles, that confrontation was only the beginning. Because once William allegedly realized how deeply administrative channels had already been manipulated, he reportedly stopped viewing the situation as a family disagreement and started treating it like an institutional threat. And suddenly the atmosphere inside the monarchy changed completely. Staff members allegedly became nervous speaking near certain offices. Private aides reportedly started double-checking paperwork trails that had once moved unquestioned for years. Longtime palace employees allegedly feared the royal household had quietly split into invisible camps, each side watching the other in silence. Sources now claim William allegedly ordered one of the most aggressive internal reviews ever conducted inside the modern monarchy. Not public investigations, not dramatic police raids, something colder, something quieter. Administrative demolition. Palace insiders describe teams revisiting 18 months of ceremonial edits, attendance classifications, guest permissions, and internal correspondence connected to Camilla's office. And according to leaks, the deeper they went, the uglier the pattern became. Tiny changes allegedly appeared everywhere once investigators knew what they were looking for. Adjustments most people would never notice. Language softened here. Access expanded there. Eligibility quietly widened in another place. It allegedly looked less like random paperwork and more like a slow infiltration unfolding piece by piece over time. One particular discovery reportedly sent shockwaves through William's office. According to insiders, Tom Parker Bowles had allegedly been internally reclassified during preparations for a Windsor event under wording that shifted him from an external visitor into something closer to a household-adjacent figure. And that may sound boring to ordinary people, but inside palace systems, those classifications control everything. Movement permissions, ceremonial access, briefing eligibility, security visibility, even proximity to protected royal events. In other words, insiders claim Camilla's office allegedly was not simply trying to improve public image for her family. The operation allegedly aimed to normalize them administratively until one day their royal positioning no longer looked unusual at all. People close to the palace claim William allegedly became absolutely ruthless afterward because this situation touched the deepest wound of his entire life, Diana. According to insiders, William reportedly viewed every hidden attempt to elevate Camilla's bloodline as an insult layered directly on top of his mother's memory, especially because Queen Elizabeth herself had supposedly drawn a hard line protecting the monarchy from exactly this scenario years earlier. Palace whispers now claim William privately told aides the institution belonged to the direct royal heirs alone, George, Charlotte, and Louis, and not to parallel family structures built through secret administrative maneuvering. That is reportedly when Anne proposed something extraordinary behind closed doors, not merely blocking Camilla's alleged plans under Charles' reign, but permanently locking future monarchs into restrictions that could survive for generations. Sources claim Anne pushed for the 2005 agreement originally made with Queen Elizabeth to become formal institutional doctrine instead of private family understanding. That distinction matters enormously because private promises can disappear. Institutional directives cannot disappear quietly once embedded into royal governance systems. Any future sovereign, including William himself, would supposedly require broader institutional approval before granting honors, ceremonial roles, or elevated positioning to individuals connected directly to Camilla's bloodline. If palace sources are accurate, this could become one of the most humiliating long-term restrictions ever attached to a queen consort in modern royal history, because it would not only destroy Camilla's alleged title ambitions, it would permanently record inside institutional memory that the monarchy considered her family line structurally separate from the royal bloodline itself. And according to insiders, that That possibility allegedly terrified Camilla far more than Anne's confrontation ever did. And then something emotionally devastating allegedly happened behind palace walls after the confrontation. Staff members reportedly noticed Camilla withdrawing almost completely from her usual routines. People who normally saw her moving confidently through Clarence House allegedly described a silence that felt unnatural. According to insiders, she stopped lingering in common rooms. Conversations became shorter. Public composure remained intact, but privately, something reportedly shifted badly. One staff member allegedly described the atmosphere around her as a person realizing the floor underneath them is disappearing in slow motion. According to household whispers, a staff member entered Camilla's private sitting room and discovered every photograph of Charles removed from the space she used most personally. Not public portraits, not decorative displays, personal photographs, gone. Sources claim the employee froze in shock before Camilla allegedly erupted in fury and screamed for them to leave immediately. Palace gossip spread rapidly afterward because insiders interpreted the moment as something deeply symbolic. Not anger toward Anne, not anger toward William, but devastation over Charles remaining silent while everything collapsed around her. Because, according to those close to Camilla, she allegedly survived years of hatred, ridicule, scandal, and public hostility by believing one thing above all else, that Charles would ultimately choose her when moments became truly serious. That belief supposedly carried her through decades of royal warfare surrounding Diana's legacy. But during the confrontation that allegedly destroyed her operation, insiders say Charles did not intervene at all. No dramatic defense, no protection, no attempt to stop Anne, just distance. And in palace culture, that kind of distance can feel colder than betrayal itself. Meanwhile, William reportedly continued tightening institutional control afterward with shocking speed. Sources claim new approval systems were allegedly installed requiring future ceremonial classification changes to pass directly through oversight connected to his office. That move reportedly stunned senior palace aides because it effectively placed permanent limits around the queen consort's administrative influence. Insiders describe it as William tearing down the hidden pathways Camilla allegedly used and rebuilding the entire system so those routes could never exist again.